Today on One Door Studios Update, we're going to tell you about an incredibly significant first meeting we had with a very well-known writer-director team. You're not going to want to miss that part. But first up, we're meeting with one of our largest investors to get their take on why they came on board. Join John, Jay, and Steve with special guests for today's update. Welcome everybody to One Door Studios Update. Today we have special guests with us, Thomas and Terry O'Reilly. They are, I would say, probably our most enthusiastic investors we've ever had. They've been with us. How many months, Thomas, have you been with us? When did you discover our campaign?
I think that the process started when I read an email from Nkosi in February. So I read that and thought I need to get in touch with you guys soon. So it was like the next day after that.
And so for the people watching who don't know who Nkosi is, they should, but maybe they don't. Who's Nkosi?
It's an organization that's national that is heavily involved in, exclusively involved in the fight to end human trafficking.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, who are just tuning into our raise, we're actually going to be donating 25% of the net profits that from the three producers up here to Nkosi, so they can help fight trafficking on the fronts of prevention, rescue, and rehabilitation. So that was your main motivation for coming on board with us, Thomas.
Yeah. It's so aligned with things that Terry and I have been passionate about, that we've thought about, we've prayed about, we've contributed to financially. It just was right in line with something that was important to us, and it just seemed like a logical fit.
So wait a minute, you say it's Nkosi. And I just want to point out that the story really had no impact. It was all about Nkosi. No,
au contraire.
That's what you're saying. It as if that wasn't bad enough. I don't think you even read the book initially, Thomas. I think you used Terry as an excuse. You said no. Actually, I've assigned this. I've assigned it to my better half. She is reading the book, and I'll get her report. And
so, what did you guys think of the story, or have you read it?
So, Stephen and John, I have read it, and I was engrossed with just the actual physical book itself. I could not put it down for a couple of reasons. One, it addressed so many different issues. The idea of being sucked into something that you had no idea was going to be bad. You entered into it on faith, on hoping that it was going to improve your situation. And for that reason, I could not put it down.
When I started reading it, I had gotten Terry's report, and I had read all the other reports about how fascinating this book was, and that the majority of people that pick it up can't put it down until they're done with it. And I was blown away by how articulate Nova McBee was. It was a kind of movie or a book that you just want to root for the people that win.
Yeah. Well, and you said it's the kind of movie because you're already envisioning the book as a movie already. It reads very much like a movie. And in fact, I don't know if you guys had your hands on Simulated yet, but you do. Yeah, Simulated reads even more like a movie than Calculated does, and it's very, very easy to envision it, very much like Mission Impossible, except with a team of young savants, as opposed to Tom Cruise and his four cohorts in the fire truck. It is really astounding. We haven't.
So Stephen, to your point, Simulated actually focuses more intently on each individual, whereas for me, Calculated introduced you to the entire party. Welcome to the party, and here's all the players. And when you get to Simulated, you see how important each person is to describe what's going to happen later as they go, because you really don't know. It just leads you and entices you to continue reading.
So we have some exciting news that we want to share with all the people, but we're going to tell it to you guys first.
Awesome.
And it has to be a little bit ambiguous yet, but there still is a progress from last week. So last week we had said that we had approached a new set of writers, a pretty big team of writers that have written and directed some pretty large movies that you've seen before. And we were just kind of hoping with all hope that they would enjoy the story and maybe get back to us. And when we hadn't heard from them, we decided to go to some other writers. But as soon as we decided to do that, we heard back from these guys. And
often works that way, doesn't it?
And so that they emailed us and said that they actually loved Calculated and wanted to talk. And so we scheduled a meeting this is Thursday right now. So it was just 4 days ago. We had that meeting with them. Nova, the writer, was on the call, and John and some other folks. And John, how did that go?
It couldn't have gone better. So we got on the call, and almost all of their development team was there. So that's also usually you'll have one of the people that's assigned, but the head, the president of their development group, led the call for them, and they had most, if not all, of their team represented, which was also a really good sign. And they were openly eager, aggressive, and pumped about Calculated. The chief had read it, had finished it on Friday and made the call right away. Then another one read it over the weekend for the call on Monday.
And what's significant to mention about this is it's not just writers. These are writers / directors / part of a huge team of people that if they came on, this thing would be pretty much guaranteed tremendous success.
And on that note, one disclaimer is that, I mean, we're not on yet. You know, we don't know. It could go the other way. But even if it did go the other way, to have such a response on this book, on this property, at that level, just shows you how powerful it is.
They are the number one out of the top 20 that we segregated out to go to. They're the number one writing source, and they are
number one. Yeah.
And they are thought number one by most people in the industry as well.
So the funny thing is, these relationships that we've been stumbling across, as it were, it's been happening kind of backwards. Usually we would have to pursue people and then, maybe convince them this project is worth coming on. But we've been finding that people have been pursuing us. The last week we mentioned the bank. The bank ended up calling us before we ever reached out to them. And then we sent this book to these writer director group, and just hoping they'd take notice. And they ended up contacting us and wanting to set up a meeting. So it's really, doors are opening. Significant doors are opening. So I think it's really exciting what's going on. And Thomas and Terry, it looks like you're part of something big and significant.
We are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Thomas and Terry, as some of our most enthusiastic and most significant investors, you guys love to communicate with us constantly about this project. So what would you say to those who are watching this update who have not invested, or those who are watching this Week Funder? What would you say to investors who are on the fence at the moment?
I have talked to a lot of my friends and family about this project. So I actually have been kind of around the horn on this question. And I just encourage people to slow down long enough to really look this project over and to consider the implications of this project, both now and for generations to come.
Wow.
That this is not just a small one-time investment, and also to really kind of run the numbers in terms of return on investment. Not only is there a 10% immediate return, but then all the sharing, the profit sharing, that comes from all the residuals afterwards for a long time. And it rolls over to your generations and, family and heirs. Not to mention the fact that this is a spiritual endeavor. And how often do you get a chance to really invest in a spiritual endeavor that has this kind of teeth and substance?
Yeah.
That's great.
So the relationship with the three of you since then has been nothing more but confirmation or reaffirmation of that right decision to move in this direction.
Yeah, you've been a real encouragement to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly have been.
Thank you for that. And we're excited. Every day we get together and we kind of pinch ourselves about being involved in a project this strong. And it's undoing to us to see each book as they come out and realize that something that we purchased a couple of years ago, acquired the option to, is becoming so valuable because each book reasserts, reaffirms where it's going. And it being a franchise, the investors in Calculated are involved in this experience and every picture that comes from the franchise.
Yeah, so Thomas and Terry, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time out of your day to join us. We're just so excited to have you guys on the team and so grateful you joined us today. And so for everybody watching today, that's the end of our update this week. And we will see you again next week for another exciting update. And let me switch the camera so you can see our guys say woohoo like they always do.
Woohoo!